Now, many of you, as you already know, that Neo for the month of July they sold 21,017 cars. Many people have been wondering exactly on the breakdown. Many people have been wondering exactly on the breakdown what really transpired, how, especially with the Neo main brand models, because for the main brand models, Neo sold around 12,600 and 12,675, whilst ONVO sold 5,976 and Firefly sold around 2,336, and this in total gave Neo the 21,017 cars. Now, this is very important that we know, or it is very important that we know exactly the kind of models that are performing better, because you will know that with the Neo main brand models, Neo main brand models are very critical or are important to the deliveries or total deliveries that Neo generates, because they are the models with the good gross margins, or that gives good vehicle margins to Neo, and therefore the more of the Neo main brand they sell, the better, right? Neo is able to obviously Neo is able to generate some pretty good gross profit margins, especially with their vehicles of over 400,000 RMB. I mean, if you check the vehicles that are over 400,000 RMB, it's four models under Neo. It's actually five models under Neo, namely the ET5, namely the ET7, ES7, EC7, ES8, and ET9. These five are over or are vehicles priced over 400,000 RMB, and therefore their gross margins should also be much better than those priced below 400,000 RMB, which are is your ET5 Touring, ET5 Mid Sedan, ES6 and EC6. You've got ONVO L60, you've also got Firefly. Now you have got the ONVO L90. All these other, of course, seven cars, their prices are below 400,000 RMB, but of course, in terms of gross profit, it's not that much, except it's not that much compared to those in the higher those priced over 400,000 RMB. I mean, yes, the ES6, EC6, those two, their vehicle margins or the margins or the profit margins for their vehicle margins are pretty solid, are pretty good. We know that the ES6 vehicle margins are over 20%. We know that the EC6 vehicle margins are almost at 30%. This is what the CEO told us, right? And ET5 Touring, ET5 Mid-Sedan vehicle margins can be around 20%, if not a slightly lower, because these are the cheapest models that you get when you are buying Neo, or these are the cheapest model under the Neo main brand. Now, the breakdowns for these 21,017 cars goes as follow. You will notice there that obviously the ET5 Touring, once again for the second time in a row, or for the second month in a row, it sold more than, of course, the Neo ES6. I mean, ET5 Touring, as seen on the screen, you'll notice that it sold 4,418 units in July, which of course it was a decrease, or 13.59 decrease year on year, and a decrease of 13.42 month to month, but it was still higher, or it sold more than the Neo ES6. I mean, the Neo ES6, as seen on the screen, you will notice that it sold 3,359 units in July, which was a 58, or which was down 58.59% and down 23.92% month to month. This, like I said, it marks the second month in a row where the ET5 Touring is selling more than the ES6. ET5 Touring, remember, it was a car that when Neo created it, they were creating it primarily for the, of course, European market, but its performance right now, it looks like, look, a lot of Chinese consumers are liking this car more than the ES6. This is what it means. And gender wise, I think females are the ones that are going in hard, or they're the ones that are buying this car, because look, man, they just like it, which is something that is very, very good. Now, like I said, the first, I mean, since the beginning of Neo ES6, June 2019, this has been the best selling model under Neo, which was so great. And seeing it now coming down this way, I think it's yeah, I don't know. It's a bit. It makes us to be worried a bit. But again, as long as we are still getting the deliveries and the sales, my only concern, I think, why I would prefer vice versa, ES6 having more sales than the ET5 Touring and ET5 mid sedan. It's of course of the margins that the two vehicles generate. ES6 generate more margins than obviously ET5 Touring and ET5 mid sedan, which is why it would be good that it sells more. But again, this is not what we've been seeing in the last 2 months. Now the ET5 Sedan sold 1,480 units, and this was down 44.61% year on year and 9.87% month to month. The EC6 now, it sold 1,425, down 45% year on year and down 26.24% month to month. So from these first four best-selling Neo cars, we can see that they are down quite sharply based on or comparing to the kind of performance they were pulling last year. And I can tell you now, this due to the sub-brand ONVO, because the L90 look and the L60, those cars are doing so well, and people might be choosing them and not the Neo main brand models. And what makes up and the only thing that will make Neo to go back to its glory days is the massive upgrades and infrastructure that will separate the two, of course, brands. Yes, Neo is a premium brand, but as it stands, the way people, I think, they are seeing Neo and ONVO, they see more value for money when they are buying ONVO and not Neo. That's what I'm thinking, and therefore Neo needs to take it to the next level and make sure that there is a significance in terms of how the two brands differ. That is how Neo will be able to pick up, because people are, I think, they are going for the mass market for the family oriented brand than the Neo main brand model, which is always good, which is not that bad, because look, at the end of the day, ONVO still forms part of falls under Neo, and Neo will forever reap the good rewards of good deliveries or massive deliveries coming from ONVO. Now the Neo ES8, look, it sold 1,090 units in July, which makes this, of course, a new high since January of 2024. It was an increase of 32% year on year and a 29% or 29.92% month to month. So the ES8 SUV saw a 32% increase year over year. It did something that it has not been doing in terms of delivery since January of last year, which is absolutely great and amazing. And like I said, these are the cars that I believe, in my personal opinion, the gross margin is at. I think gross margins is pretty solid. It's pretty high for these ones. Seeing them selling like this, it's very, very good. I mean, if ES8, the highest that it has done, it's around 2,800 on a monthly basis. And knowing that they sold 1,090, it's not that bad, right? I mean, it is. This figure comes before Neo launched their all new Neo ES8, which is expected to come during Neo Day, or launched officially during Neo Day, where deliveries will commence also in September. Which this gives me the confidence that Neo ES8 will do so well and will boost the total revenues that Neo will generate by increasing the average car purchase of the entire Neo group, which is something that is of the entire Neo, which is great and amazing. Now, going to the ET7 sold 564 units, down 24.7% year on year, but up 108% month on month. So when comparing these kind of sales to those of last year in July, they were down 24.7%, and this month to month, comparing to the June deliveries, it was up 108%, which is something that is just so great. EC7 sold 254 units, down 3% year on year, but up 202%, which is absolutely great. Now, in as much as we are not seeing these vehicles over 400,000 selling that much, but the growth, it looks like, especially the month to month, it looks like there was a significance, or there was a huge difference, or there's something that really attracted the Chinese consumers to go buy these cars in the month of June. Now the ET9, going to the Neo ET9, this is the most expensive model under Neo. It sold 85 units in July, down 72% from the 307 units in June. So ET9 sales have came down sharply, but yeah, let's wait, let's see what transpires. They've launched a two-color or two-paint ET9 like the Maybach, like the BMW, and hopefully that will help them to deliver as many vehicles as possible. So yeah, man, this is what we have under the new brand. Oh, the Neo ES7 never sold anything, so uh, these are the 8 units that only got something last month. ES7, you know that there is an all new ES7 NT 3.0 that is also coming. That hopefully we cross fingers that it boasts the deliveries that we've been seeing on this model, and we get to see it do very, very well. Otherwise, like I said, ONVO sold 5,900 and Firefly sold 2,366, which is something that is great for the sub brands, right? I mean, Firefly, there's 4,000 expected this month. ONVO, remember this 5,900 excluded the ONVO L90 because L90 started selling on the 1st of August. So yeah, man, I am happy, I'm excited. Blue Sky is coming. I just thought I'd quickly give you this quick update. I'll see you on the next one. Like, share, subscribe. All that I share here are my opinions, not professional financial advice. If you seek PR advice, you already know what to do. I'll see you on the next one, and God bless you all.